Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. Last time, we continued our war with Dabunia and essentially turned things around, although things may start to turn around again here. Now, last time we set up our primary army, our Icenian army here in Aquae Sulis, taking this provincial capital, and we secured Kinetio, the long-term goal of this entire operation, to some degree. Now, the major battle with the massive combined enemy force is certainly looming, and I think we will start this part by doing that battle. Now, there is a rogue Dabunian stack here, sieging down territory, which is quite irritating, and I will have to go deal with that in a bit, but ideally, what will happen is when the battle here does occur, this stack will come running over to try and participate, and we will not have to chase it around Icenia, re-sieging territory. I should double-check here. I'm just making sure that these territories are populated enough that it won't decolonize anything, which would be a huge disaster and just extremely irritating, so looks like we'll be fine. But I think what is critical is actually engaging this force. Now, they are situated in a forest and in a fort that they control, which is not ideal. I would much rather they come attack me in Aquae Sulis. I think what I will do is keep this army here, finish the siege, and hope that they come attack me in Aquae Sulis, and then I can come reinforce with the mercenary army. But as usual, when I unpause, all the various AI armies may start to change their movement orders, and I will not have been prepared for it, and we'll see what happens. So that is that. And then the other thing, of course, that happened last episode is this situation with Donwyn, where she's apparently developing a bit of a weird insanity. So not sure what to do about that. I suppose I should quickly look at the succession situation. So if the... where do I see that? I think it's just here. So the likeliest successor is Caeltrim, which I suppose makes sense. If you've been paying attention, he's actually been the one winning most of our battles, according to the in-game popularity counter. And so, despite that, he actually has, well, he does actually have more popularity than Inimicus. So Caeltrim is likely to be the successor if Donwyn dies. Becoming crazy doesn't make Donwyn die, though, so we may be able to keep her around for longer. I suppose we'll see. So anyways, he also does have one loyal retinue. Let's go ahead and unpause and see what the AI does. We win the thing there. Good. Now, will they come? They may be smart enough to stay put there. I am willing to go fight them in the fort. What I might do, actually, is try and bait them over by having you go to Wenta. Now, Wenta does actually border this capital. It's a little hard to see in the forest, but there is a border between the two. So let's have you. I'm going to keep you. I'm going to move you to Kinetio. I want to keep this army and the mercenary army one tile away from each other. This army is now moving. They're moving into the zone of control of Dura Wernham, so some more AI strange behavior here. This army is going to get trapped in the zone of control of Dura Wernham, have to go siege Dura Wernham. I mean, they can leave the zone, but they can only go towards Dura Wernham or away. And then they can't siege Dura Wernham because they don't have enough men, so I don't know what they're doing. Very strange. They could have just sieged Noe Omegas and it would have been fine, but who knows. Now, we're going to have to continue along here. Now, one thing I also should note a few things I noticed in between episodes. One of them is it is quite expensive to keep the war going without going for a decisive victory. I suppose, to be honest, I could just attack with the mercenaries. It doesn't matter to me if I lose a lot of extra mercenaries. This is an attack, and if all of these were my men, I would wait and draw out this attack. I would not want to waste my men in this disadvantageous attack. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak right now. But with these mercenaries, it actually is better for me to lose mercenaries and throw them away because I pay less if there's less mercenaries. And once the war's over, I'll just stop paying the mercenaries and disband them. So it's essentially a matter of, do I want to finish the war and save more money, or do I want to keep the mercenaries around for longer? Now, one thing I can do with the mercenaries is once I do take this fight, I probably won't be able, with my existing forces, to actually beat the survivors one-on-one. I'll need the mercenaries longer. So it is to my advantage to keep the mercenaries around for longer. And the other thing, too, is there's actually a lot of enemy territory I can still siege. Now, something I didn't really mention in the previous episodes is there's actually a third participant in this war. During the war, Demetia actually joined. And the reason they joined is because they're allied to Dabunia. This is an alliance Dabunia appeared to have made after the war started. And so Demetia, Ordowicia, and Dabunia are actually all in this coalition together. And that's why the force number is larger than what I probably guessed at the very start. So there actually is quite a bit of essentially undefended territory I could go up into, and I think that's actually what I will do with this army. I've changed my mind. I'm going to send my levies up north to go and attack these territories. Now, this is what's really great about this situation. There's this little territory here, Siluria, or rather, the tribe of Siluria controls this territory. Siluria is not offering military acts. Actually, it is offering it to Demetia. Ooh, okay. So Demetia can go through Silurian territory, but nobody else, and not me, no one else or me can. So Demetia could go through to get a shortcut, but everybody else, or rather Ordowicia and Dabunia, would have to go through Corinium, and they'd have to siege it down. So I'm fairly free because of my control of Corinium and Siluria only giving military access to Demetia. I'm pretty free to just go up here and start sieging down this territory and be protected from reprisal. And of course, this army would also have to contend with my mercenaries. So I think what I'm going to do is send this army on a ravaging mission north into Wales and try and get some of this territory to buff up my war score. I'm thinking ahead to the peace deal, and we're going to have to go for kind of a crazy peace deal here. I'm going to be limited based on how much I can actually take given the war score cost, but I basically want to get as much as possible and weaken these various nations as much as possible. I do plan critically on taking a few things that are not going to be negotiable. I definitely will need to take Corinium and these territories. I need to take Canetio and these territories, and I do think I will actually take Aquasulis and these territories. And you might say, well, hold on. This is very ahead of time. The areas in Dumnonia are not going to be available by mission for a bit of time here, right? And if we look here, Dumnonia, where do I get the Dumnonia one? Let's see here. Province of Dumnonia. What do I have claims on right now? Sorry, give me a moment to double check this. How do I see this? No, that's Siluria. Where am I? Province of Dumnonia. Procantia. Demetia. Okay, so correction, I actually don't think I do get a claim on Dumnonia later on, which means it's actually worthwhile to take Aquasulis now. There's no reason to wait to pursue Dumnonia. And Dumnonia may potentially be a diplomatically isolated target, and here is why. If you look here, they actually have a truce with a bunch of their neighbors, basically all of their neighbors to the north, two of whom I'm actually fighting. And they don't have any allies. They have a bunch of casus belli on and against them with those same partners. And they do have an export relationship with Bracaria, who they're just some Iberian. That doesn't matter. But Dumnonia is actually uncharacteristically diplomatically isolated. And I think after my huge war with Dabunia and its allies is over, I'll probably need to wait a bit to recover some of my money and possibly manpower, but possibly not manpower given my use of the mercenaries. This would be a very quick, low-risk war to secure these sets of territories. And these are also quite a few actual settlements to get, and if it's only against this one party, I'd probably have enough war score costs to be able to get all of these. And this would secure this end of the island and remove one more front. We would also then completely surround Duratriga, and would make our later betrayal of them, which I am certainly planning, a little bit easier to pull off. Now, I'll talk more about my post-war plans once the war's over, because we actually need to finish the war, and we won't do that while we're on paused. So let's go ahead and continue there. Okay, so some action happening now. Dabunia is traveling north. A little interesting. Now everyone is. Are they going to come fight me in Canetio? Which would be interesting if they were to do so. I'm going to keep you in Wenta. You're going to Leucomegas. I'll let you do that because I'll just come attack you in the farmland. Totally fine. Okay, they are going to Leucomegas to go attack these folks. I'm going to wait till they are locked, and possibly until after I finished Wenta, and then I'll go north to join. They'll still be there by then. We're going to continue going north. This army chasing me is actually small enough I could defeat it head-on. So perhaps I can fight them... No. Let's go to Caridium. Actually, let's keep the movement order in case... Because the AI, I believe, is reacting to my movement order. I'm not sure if they know my order. They shouldn't be able to, because that feels like cheating. I can't see their movement order. They should only be able to see where I'm moving to immediately. I guess we'll see what they do. But... Okay, now they're completely changing. As usual, the AI changes all their movements as soon as I talk about it, so we'll definitely finish getting Wenta, and then we'll move into Vindocladia. They may come attack the stack in Vindocladia while I'm sieging, which would be completely fine. That would be no big deal. Okay, Duratriga is going to take on this little stack. They should actually be able to beat the stack in a surprise. Duratriga may actually get a victory in the war, which would be a huge shocker. But, okay, we finished Wenta. That's good. We're going to get all these territories, and this one once they're gone. Or not this one, sorry. We're going to get all these territories under our control again. This will really help with our war score. Now, I think we're going to go into Window Claudia, because from their position, they would have to... Because of zone of control, in order to get into my territory, they'd have to go through... Leucomegas, and Leucomegas is very close by Window Claudia, so we should be able to catch them if they start doing something strange, or go to Caridium, which I think is what they will do. Oh, hold on. Now they're actually going to go. You locked? You're not. Into Canetio. If I stop moving, you continue. You're going to go for it. Okay, once they're locked, I'm going to rush up to Canetio. They will destroy the stack, but I will finally catch them. And I'm a little bit worried about not being able to catch them with my mercenary army. Once they're locked, or once some of them are locked. There we go. All right, now I'm going to move in. And hopefully I'll catch them. These guys did manage to get away, so that may be an issue. All right, that small 500-man stack was destroyed. That's good to see. Let's just continue along here. Will we catch them in Canetio? Remains to be seen. Possibly. I sure hope so. Alright, don't even think about leaving. Coming in. I will catch them, okay. So the big battle is going to happen in Canetio, which is appropriate given this has been the weird focal point of the war. We have 8,000 mercenaries comprised of archers, chariots, and light cavalry with the right tactic, versus a massive coalition army of all of my enemies, Dabunia, Demetia, and Ordowicia, comprised of a bunch of various chariots and light infantry. We will definitely win thanks to our numbers advantage, but the question is how many will survive on each side? We will possibly be supported by this smaller Duratrigan strike force and possibly these other armies. We'll see how long it takes them to reach here. Huge battles with thousands of men do actually take quite a while to sort of occur, so they may come in and help even things out a little bit more as well. And once this is done, I think the mercenaries will then commit to besieging Window Claudia. Although, what I might do instead is send the mercenaries north once these forces are mopped up. Once it's safe for Duratriga to move around in their territory and they won't get destroyed by the surviving enemies, I would rather Duratriga re-siege Window Claudia and have my mercenaries come help siege down Wales, because I want Wales under my control, and I think Duratriga will prioritize regaining their own capital over wandering off into the west, so I think that should be a good trade-off. Alright, second Donwin, let's see what you can do here. Looks like they will come help as well, so that's good. Alright, get in there. Here we go. The big battle in Canetio. Let's see how this goes. And fortunately, it looks like we are going to be flanking them quite a bit, so that is good. Alright, yeah, things are definitely going badly for them. And they do have the right tactic, unfortunately. The big question is, how many forces will survive on either side? And since these are not... We're putting them under siege, good. Since these are not my levies, I care a bit less about how many mercenaries survive. Okay, so we lost about 1,700 mercenaries. They lost about 2,500 levied men. So this is a pretty big victory for us. However, this doesn't put them weak enough that I can leave with the mercenaries. I need to basically try and finish them off. Where are they headed to? I have to try and follow them pretty carefully. They're heading to Aquasulis. We're going to follow them. I don't know what territory they're going to try and retreat to, but I will catch them in Aquasulis. Fingers crossed about a stack wipe. You never know, stack wipes are a little inconsistent, but let's really hope that we pull this one off, because that would be a huge relief. All right. There's one stack wipe of a tiny force. Now, they're going north. Okay, I think they're trying to retreat into their land. Let's follow them. I hope the Duratrigans change their mind and go resiege their capital, because that would be a much better use of their soldiers. And they're going to go into the enemy territory. Let's try and follow them after all. Can I get military access with Siluria? Actually, instead of demanding military access, let's ask for military access. That's a better option. Military access granted. Okay, that's nice of them. Very good. So this will give us a bit of a shortcut. Now, in this game, this is one of the games where military access is unilateral. Or is that the right word? Perhaps what I mean to say is it's not unilateral. Military access does not give to everybody in the war military access. Some strategy games have a kind of fairness element where if a neutral party gives one side military access, all members of the war get it as well, just so no one can hide in military access land. In this game, it's a little bit less fair. Military access is a sort of a case-by-case law, or what's the word? A case-by-case arrangement. And so Demetia and I have military access, but my other enemies and also Duratriga don't have military access. So they may separately negotiate military access with Siluria, but the AI doesn't seem to do it super strategically. So we will get a shortcut into this land. That's good. Where are they going to? They're going this way. I think they might be going to Dolau Kothi. Either way, we are going to follow. All right, Duratriga, let's go retake your capital, please. Stop following me. I don't even have attachment allowed on this army, so I don't know what they're doing. Oh, we're going to catch them in Huertis. Good. Catch some of them. This is probably a stack wipe of those 423. Fingers crossed. Okay. It was a stack wipe by Duratriga, so that's good to see. Yeah, so these forces are definitely being whittled down quite a bit from these little groups splitting off. This is really good. And actually, it might even be safe for me to disband my mercenaries now. However, I don't think I will until these armies are actually destroyed. I think what I will do is instead have my mercenaries go siege Dolau Kothi. This is the only... Actually, no. I'm going to have you go to Magnus and try and grab this capital before Duratriga gets any ideas. And that's where they're going as well, actually. So that's doubly good. So that's fine. If Duratriga wants to come support my siege up here, they're unlikely to get it. And if they do, they'll probably give it to me. What I want them to do is go back to their capital and re-siege it down. Maybe once the army is destroyed, they'll get that idea, because right now they're just chasing the retreating army around. We might stack wipe the rest of them in Magnus. I suppose we'll see. This is a bit of a larger force, so it may not be a stack wipe. It was a stack wipe. Okay. So now, and looks like they do have a few survivors over here. However, I think at this point, if we take a look at the war, I mean, we don't know the exact numbers. I think it's very likely we've essentially completely destroyed the enemy coalition's army. And with that in mind, is it time to actually disband the mercenaries? Now, one thing I should ask is actually, how do I disband mercenaries? Where is my mercenary force? Here it is. I could fire those mercenaries. They could not be rehired by anybody else. Could the enemy rehire them? Possibly. But I don't think the AI will do that. If it did, that'd be quite clever of them. But I'm not sure how much money the AI actually does have. I don't think that's a very likely danger. We had quite a bit of money because of all the people that we sold into slavery. I'm not sure the AI tribes have much money lying around. But what I could do, though, is have the mercenaries just stick around to siege down this fort, because otherwise I can't send anyone from here because I need 2,000 to siege that fort. So I will keep the mercenaries just for fort sieging duties and to get this capital. And once I have these fort siege down, I win the whole war, because those are all the different provincial capitals under my control. And with that big war score, and once we finished recovering Duratriga's land, we will be in the clear. All right. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, I got really scared for a sec. The color of Ordowicia is extremely similar to the color of uncolonized land. I got very scared for a moment that I decolonized Magnus, which would be a huge pain in the butt. So massive relief that that didn't happen. Magnus is actually quite a populous forest, but we need to be a little careful about that. All right, let's go over to this place, Dolau Kothi, and go ahead and get that under siege. The Durdurigans may come over and help and try and take control of the siege, but they will probably give it to us if we... I just need someone sieging there at all, so... You know, actually, hold on. Now I'm going to turn off attachment with you and you and you. So the Duratrigans maybe go back to their capital and actually re-siege it. It's fine to keep it under, it's fine to keep it under enemy occupation. The enemy isn't going to recruit anyone, excuse me, down there. So it's more a matter of Duratriga is wasting time. They could be going down there. Maybe they'll do it in a moment. I guess we'll see. Hope they get the idea though. It's also, by the way, just double check they're not giving military access, because there's a small army out here in the forest. We need to be a little careful about that, but I think we should be fine. Some mercenaries that died, by the way, is why our treasury is not as damaged now, or rather our income. It's a little bit better. But yeah, once this is re-sieged, we will have 100% war score and the chance for a crazy peace deal. And then we may actually have to be at peace for, I mean, aside from this little war I'm planning, we may have to be at peace. Some of these other northern neighbors are in alliance networks, especially this one here, may be a bit of an issue. But our plan to strike west is looking pretty good right now. We may even be able to get into Wales here, and kind of a surprise. We need to be a little bit careful about overextension, not in terms of the statistics on us, different modifiers like aggressive expansion. I'm not as scared about that, because you really need to hit 50 for serious issues, and we're nowhere near 50. I'm a little bit more worried, though, about actual logistical overextension. Having too many frontiers, which is part of why I'm thinking about going after Dumnonia, to remove one frontier. Of course, there's always the ocean, but the AI is not exactly very great at naval maneuvering with armies and being aboard ships and whatnot. Not to mention, there's not that many big navies that can even carry many troops, so we're not really in super high danger of naval assaults or naval invasions from these forces. Okay, we've taken Levo Brinta up here. Or rather, Duratriga has taken it. Ugh, gross. Sooner I stop having to deal with Duratriga being in my wars, honestly, the better. We're reaching a point where we may be able to... Well, I say that, but I did need mercenaries to do this war, so maybe I shouldn't badmouth Duratriga quite yet. I can always rehire these mercenaries. They'll go back to living in Durawernum, so... Anyways, Duratriga got one slave. That's fine, I suppose. I'll wait for Duratriga to give me control of that, because I will like that, please. It's fine. Now you are going to go to Dolau Kothi. And once they're there, if they can siege, I may actually disband the mercenaries at that time. But I need to be a little careful here about my timing. We'll wait for Duratriga to give us control of this. This is outrageous for Duratriga to keep this. This is really far away from their core. I guess we'll see. Now, fortunately, during this whole war, my political influence has been rising steadily in the background because a lot of time has passed. And once the war is over, I'm actually going to be pretty close to being able to found the city in Londinium, my long-mentioned goal. Now, to found the city, I will need 350 gold and 87, holy moly, 800 political influence. That would be a huge weight. 87 political influence, 87.50. And you might say, well, hold on, your gold is not looking so great. Well, you don't forget what's going to happen to the nobility of all these countries. That's the other reason, by the way, I don't want to leave bits of territory that are outside of provinces I'm already investing in. If I leave any territory, the country survives, and I don't get to enslave the nobility. So let's see here. If I were to move the mercenaries out of the way, this siege continues. Let's just double check that for sure, and then I will go ahead. Okay, you're coming in. Since you're coming in to help, the siege is definitely under control. I will go ahead and now disband, or rather fire the mercenaries. Okay. So, oh, they're actually here. Okay, they're going back. I think they're going to return to Dura-Wernham. That's where they live. I hope they do go back there because I'd like them to be in Dura-Wernham, just so I can easily access them and they're always nearby. I guess we'll see where they go. It's not a disaster if they go somewhere else, but they're a Britannian sort of located group, so hopefully they do go over there. It's actually kind of cool that they actually have to walk back to where they want to be. That's a nice feature. I actually wasn't expecting that. I don't really use mercenaries that much, but yeah, hopefully Dura-Wernham, or rather Dura-Triga, gets the idea of besieging their capital, because that's a lot of war score that I won't be getting, and hopefully giving me this. That's the other thing they need to do. If they keep that, I may have to change my plans a little bit, because that'll be a bit of a mess. I may have to not take this territory, because I don't want to give it to Dura-Triga. Maybe I can make them my vassal? I don't know. This might be a little tricky. We'll have to see what they do with this territory. And are they controlling the siege? No, I'm controlling it. So there's that at least. For once, Dura-Triga doesn't control the siege. Speaking of which, the siege is under now, or rather, it's done now. Very good. There's population 3, population. Gotta be a little bit careful about that. And there's this army. Where are they going? Wertis. I guess we'll go see if we can catch them. Stack wipe them, maybe. It's only 1,000 men. Let's see what happens with that. Okay, this is all under control. Now, I could probably just end the war now. It's only 1 war score difference, so let's go ahead and see what we can pull off here. Sue for peace. Okay, big peace deal time. So, let's see here. Now, definitely going to get Debunia to Icenia. Now, actually, let's quickly look at my missions and see what I need. So I'm not going to be able to complete any missions here because I'll need this territory here. So let's not worry about the missions. Let's just go to the peace deal. So we want Debunia to Icenia. We also want Dura-Triga to Icenia. We are going to be encroaching on Dura-Triga. I've said before, we are planning to eventually backstab them. And Dumnonia to Icenia, okay? What's our war score at here? 18. We definitely have a lot of room to continue doing stuff here. So let's also take Debunia. Which one is this? Debunia Demetia, yeah, that's right, to me. And Debunia Orderwikia. So this will completely destroy Debunia. So that's a good start. We will get the Debunia nobility to sell into slavery. My tyranny is also completely out, so this is a good time to accrue some slaves for those purposes. Now, let's see here. Okay, so we also want Demetia to Icenia. Okay, here's the thing. Do I wait for Dura-Triga to give me this territory, or do I chance it? Again, I don't understand how the AI makes these decisions about territory granting or not, so I'm a little worried that they're not going to do it. I don't need all this territory. That does open up more of a front up here. I could just leave them, or possibly vassalize them. Okay, either way, let's go to that in a moment. So if we look at the provinces, this is a province here. I definitely want to get this province, and we may also go after Siluria pretty soon. So let's go back to the peace deal. Sorry, this peace deal is quite complicated. And then we're going to want, which one's this? Demetia to me, and Orderwikian Demetia to me. Now this leaves the northern portion, so Orderwikia is left alone, but can I make them my subject? So Orderwikia becomes a tributary of Dura-Triga. Oh, okay, so the subject rule also gives it to the occupier. So in that case, I think I might just leave Orderwikia alone. Although one annoying thing is this actually creates an exclave over here in Wales. This territory just barely doesn't connect, which means that taking on Siluria becomes extremely important to connect my territory. Even though this exclave is pretty safe because I'll have a long peace deal, or rather a long truce with Orderwikia, and Siluria certainly can't take me on in a one-on-one fight. Let's look at the Silurian diplomatic arrangement. Siluria is actually also diplomatically isolated like Dumnonia, which means I can probably sneak in a quick war on Siluria to connect my territory, and then go after Dubnonia, who may be a bit of a more complicated war, even though they are also isolated. Although my military access deal with, let's see here, cancel military access. Okay. And yeah, I'll just do that now. I may have to wait a bit to declare war, but I'm fine probably just doing it as soon as I'm able to. So I think this is the best I can do. I think it's actually better that I don't worry about conquering Ordowicia right now. I'm fine taking the peace deal, or rather taking the long truce with Ordowicia. They will actually be diplomatically isolated once their ally is fully capitulated and conquered by me. They may ally some of these more northern nations, but I'll be fighting them in the future anyway, so I'll just return to Ordowicia later. And I definitely don't want to give Duratriga anything up here. That would be a huge mess. So I think this is the final deal. We're conquering all of Dabunia and Dabunian holdings in the southern regions, and also conquering this sort of separate Welsh area. This, I guess, is not technically Welsh right now. And the only thing we're not doing, we're not giving anything to Duratriga. All of this goes to me. So this is 50 war score, which is, again, totally doable. And 18 aggressive expansion. That's pretty significant, but we're still definitely in the clear. It will, affect those things, but it is what it is. So I think this is everything. And we will go ahead and select this option. This will increase our rank to regional power as well. Okay. Whew. All right, the game's got to load for a sec to calculate what this does. Ooh, the game is lagging a little bit. That's not good. Hopefully my recording is working fine still. Okay. It is definitely lagging. Hopefully the recording didn't get messed up by that. I suppose we'll see in a moment. It's also saving still. It's generating, by the way, what's going on? Okay, here we go. Whew. Hopefully the recording is still good. I don't know if you can hear the music glitches. It had to generate all these characters to put into these events. Let's go ahead and, before things get more freaky, imprison, and imprison the other one too. Sorry about this music glitch. The game is just kind of struggling here. A lot has gone on here. Okay. It's going to lag as it imprisons all these characters and imprison these folks also as well. Also, Donwyn has a whole bunch of popularity from these wars. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here is the glorious big Icenia that's been formed, except for this little part here, which we will take care of on the 31st of March, I suppose. And yeah, wow. What a war. Holy crap. Let's go ahead and stand down these. Oh, they're locked in movement. And wait for these guys to, I guess, okay. There's so much to look at here. I think this will actually be the place where we stop the episode, but thank you so much for watching. I hope that the end of the episode wasn't corrupted by the weird lag from the game. I'll take a look at that. But if it wasn't, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.